About 1 month after I showed this picture to the Oakland City Council, Jason Jucatan, who was at that time no longer working as a police officer in Petaluma, but was working as a police officer in Santa Rosa, was rehired by the Petaluma Police Department. Yes, 1 month after I made myself the poster child of police brutality, I'll be right there, and I showed my picture of my beaten face to the Oakland City Council twice. The city where the police officer was working when he did this to me rehired him. And it would be bad enough if this was the only thing he had ever done wrong while he was a police officer. But no, he sicked his dog on an elderly person, and the city of Petaluma paid them like a $500,000 settlement. Jason Jucatan should not be a police officer, not in Petaluma, California, not in Santa Rosa, California, not anywhere. He should not be allowed to be in the military. He should not be allowed to be a security guard. He should not be allowed to be a prison guard. He should not be allowed to be in any position of power, because if he is in a position of power, this will be the result. I realize LSD is not on your list of the drugs you're decriminalizing, but it is actually safer than a lot of the natural drugs you are decriminalizing. When you say you are decriminalizing drugs, you're decriminalizing nature. So I'd like to show you a picture of my face. This was my face after taking 5 hits of LSD. Of course, I didn't do this to my face, and the LSD didn't do this to my face. The police did this to my face. So the only thing that's making psychedelic use dangerous is what the government is doing, what people like you are doing. Not drugs. You're not decriminalizing nature. You're decriminalizing human beings. Thank you. When a human being is a criminal and arrested, the police can do whatever they want to them. They can beat them up, they can kill them, they can lock them up in jail for as long as they want. They can end up like this. This is a human being who possessed psychedelics. This is actually me after I was beaten up by the police. I would like the doctor who just spoke out against this measure to look at this picture and let me know if he thinks it would be better if someone used a psychedelic drug, like for their health, or would it be healthier if the police found them with a psychedelic drug? Because psychedelics didn't do this to me. A human being did this to me because I had a psychedelic. And you're not legalizing drugs. You're legalizing human beings. You are saying that just because I have a little bit of a mushroom in my pocket, they can't do this to me. Or they can't kick down my door and bash up everything in my house, which also happened to me. So there's my picture. Legalize human beings. End the war on human beings, not drugs, human beings. It was 2010, in September, I think, and I was in my friend's car, and we were driving back to Humboldt County, California from San Francisco. We had gotten some soup in San Francisco, but it was like so boiling hot that we couldn't eat it. So we started to drive, and when we got to Petaluma, California, which is like an hour or so north of San Francisco, this soup was like still boiling hot, but it was like warm enough to eat. So we took the first exit, parked on the side of the road, and my friend started rolling up a cigarette while I started trying to get the soup ready to eat. Now, the soup containers were like full to the brim, so when I tried to open them, it was like really difficult. It was really annoying. We ended up getting some towels from the trunk, so we were like sitting in the car. My friend was rolling a cigarette when a car came like speeding up, and we thought this car was gonna ram us. We started screaming in a panic. Come to find out, it was the Petaluma police. 2 police officers in riot gear slammed on their brakes and stopped like seconds before they rammed our car, and jumped out and started acting like they had discovered some criminals committing a crime on the side of the road. But it just turns out that I actually was doing something illegal. Technically. I had 5 hits of LSD in my backpack. So technically I was committing a crime. I was in possession of 5 hits of LSD. Now, since I've gone to Phish concerts, Grateful Dead concerts, and rainbow gatherings, and have been a hippie for like a very long time, I happen to know something that is common knowledge among hippies. That is, if you get caught with LSD, even a little bit of it, even 1 hit of it, you could go to jail for years. So it is a common practice among hippies to just swallow the LSD if the police show up. And that's what I did. And when the police officer saw me swallowing the LSD, he decided to beat the living shit out of me and try to choke me to death, saying he was trying to prevent me from swallowing it and overdosing it when he was really trying to make me choke it up so he could collect it as evidence. Which is what ultimately happened, but the charges against me were dismissed because this is what my face looked like after Jason Jucatan, who at that time was a police officer in Petaluma, California, beat me up. This is what my face looked like, not like 5 minutes afterwards, but like 5 or 6 days afterwards. There were bruises on my face, like here and there, for like over a month. When I went to court. And they ultimately dismissed the charges against me because they had used illegal means, meaning beating the living shit out of me to collect the evidence. I still had bruises on my face. I had bruises on my face the first 2 out of 4 or 5 times I had to go down to Sonoma County from Humboldt County to go to court because of this. So like a year ago, when I heard that Oakland was going to decriminalize psychedelic drugs, and they were calling it decriminalized nature, and they wanted people to volunteer to talk to the Oakland City Council about their positive experiences with psychedelic drugs, I decided to look at it from a different perspective. I brought this picture to the Oakland City Council meeting, and instead of talking about my positive experiences with psychedelic drugs and how nature should be decriminalized, I instead talked about how nature, meaning the natural drugs people were being arrested for, was not what was being arrested and put in handcuffs or beaten by the police. It was like the human beings. And I called my rant, Decriminalize Human Beings. And I posted it on YouTube. And I went to Oakland twice. I went to 2 city council meetings, and I showed them 2 different pictures of my beaten up face, one at each city council meeting. During the second city council meeting, which is the one where they ultimately voted to decriminalize the natural psychedelics, which, by the way, did not include LSD, but did include like all the other psychedelics you could possibly think of, including psilocybin and mushrooms containing psilocybin, mescaline and cactuses containing mescaline, and of course dimethyltryptamine, which I am now apparently famous for helping to decriminalize in Oakland. If you Google the phrase, is DMT decriminalized in Oakland, you don't get a picture of a pile of DMT or someone smoking DMT in a pipe. You get a picture of me and a guy who was on Vice News who's holding a peyote cactus. So, about 1 month after I showed this picture to the Oakland City Council, Jason Jucatan, who was at that time no longer working as a police officer in Petaluma, but was working as a police officer in Santa Rosa, was rehired by the Petaluma Police Department. There's the Facebook post from when they rehired him, which states that he previously worked as a Petaluma Police Department officer for 8 years. and he was rehired along with another cop named, ironically, Demetrius. Yes, 1 month after I made myself the poster child of police brutality, I'll be right there, and I showed my picture of my beaten face to the Oakland City Council twice. The city where the police officer was working when he did this to me rehired him. And it would be bad enough if this was the only thing he had ever done wrong while he was a police officer. But no, he sicked his dog on an elderly person, and the city of Petaluma paid them like a $500,000 settlement. I will put a link to this article in the description of my video. But I would like to mention that this incident happened shortly after this police officer beat me up. And while he was beating me up, his police dog Kilo was viciously barking and growling in the police car the entire time. He also beat up several other people who, as far as I can tell, did sue him. I'm not sure if they won any money. I was only able to find the outcome of one of the cases during my searching. So I would like to warn you, if you're concerned about police brutality, which a lot of people seem to be concerned about right now, since the Floyd guy was killed by the police in Minnesota, it seems that people are burning down police stations in Minnesota and rioting in the streets, not only in Minnesota, but a lot of other states. So, since so many people are concerned about police brutality right now, I would like to say that Jason Jucatan should not be a police officer. Not in Petaluma, California, not in Santa Rosa, California, not anywhere. He should not be allowed to be in the military. He should not be allowed to be a security guard. He should not be allowed to be a prison guard. He should not be allowed to be in any position of power, because if he is in a position of power, this will be the result. I don't like the way I look in this picture. And I don't like that I have like permanent nerve damage in my face from how hard this officer bashed my face into the pavement. I don't like that for years, right here, there were pieces of gravel embedded into my face from how hard he bashed my face into the ground. And I had to like pick them out and squeeze them out for years. I don't like any of that. I don't like showing you this picture. This isn't a pretty picture of me. This is like the most ugly picture of me ever taken in my entire life. But I am showing this to you to warn you that the police officer who did this to me is not only still a cop, but he's still a cop in the city where he did this to me. If you disapprove of police brutality and disapprove of the cop that beat me up still being allowed to be a cop, please like this video, share this video, watch my other videos, and subscribe to my channel. And if you would like to help me out to make more videos or get my house fixed, because as you can see, I'm standing in a half remodeled room right now that was supposed to be remodeled like 2 years ago, you can help me. You can donate money to me on Patreon or other sites. You can buy things from me off of my Amazon wishlist or other sites. You can help me if you want to. And if you don't want to help me by donating money to me or buying things for me, at least share this. Especially with somebody who lives in Petaluma. Bye, people.